Yeah, what's up with it? Do it cause I love it and I stuck with it. We ain't with the subbing in the cut with it. Please none of the talks, I heard enough of it. Like, what you gonna do? Where you at? Who you with? You ain't really about this, don't talk about it. Really on the move, on the map, never slip. Keep your hands to your lips, don't talk about it. Real eyes, real lies all the time. Stand on it, if we said it, we don't walk around it. Loose lips, sink ships, red cup, blue strips, new phone, who this? No, we don't allow it. Really on go, I don't know what's an off day. Now we on road, came from smoking in the hallway. Now we got...
Hello, and welcome in everyone. As you come in today, please like, share, as well as subscribe and hit the notification bell. And we're going to get this show started, which I'm super excited. I know last week, one of our watchers had asked, what is shadow work? And we just happen to have the perfect person in our podcast family that can actually assist us with that information and then some, because this is her area. So luckily she was available for today and we were able to get her on. So I am very much excited. So as you see, she is already on with us today. Hello, Sheronda.
Peace and love to you all. Listen, I love y'all. That's all I got. I love it. I've been watching the show just grinning like I was on that show. I just been sitting watching old shows like I was on that show before. y'all are truly amazing. Thank you.
We definitely appreciate the love and support. Absolutely. Definitely. And we love you back. We love you back.
Thank you.
Definitely. Yes. Hey, Dee.
Oh, hey, you talking to me? Or
yes. Your name is Dee, unless you changing it this week.
No, but my name is Dee-J and his is D-A, and you just said D, so I didn't.
Because you had just spoke, but we gonna be technical. Hello, Dee-J.
No, I just hi. I'm well. How are you today? Thank you for asking. It's been an interesting week, but hey, I'm here. We're here, so you know.
Most definitely. Hey, D.A.
What it do?
Not much. Chilling. Glad it is Friday.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so glad it's Friday.
Yeah.
Facts.
It is Friday.
It is Friday. I need a nap.
Saturday. And the day after Thursday.
The day after Thursday.
All day long.
That's what we're doing today.
Well, it's the truth.
It is. It definitely is. It is however you put it. But thank y'all for tuning in again. As you come in, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell on the YouTube page. If you're on Facebook, go on and hit the follow. And if you follow us on any other social media or need to, we are on Instagram as well as TikTok. So here we are. So Sheronda, starting off, can you tell us what is shadow work?
Absolutely. So shadow work is a term, it really exists centuries and centuries ago, but it wasn't called shadow. It was something that ancient civilizations realized about people. They started noticing that people had different things in their mindset that was coming out in their life. But there was a psychotherapist called Carl Jung who decided to study it, and he figured out, you hear about the ego and the id and the superego, right? Most of us heard of that. But he also talked about the shadow. So the shadow is a part of our mind, our unconscious mind, where we kind of store a lot of the things that we went through as children. He said that it happens up until about the age of 8. That's where the shadow is formed. So whatever we were taught, teachers, our friends at school, our parents, what society, whatever was going on in society at the time, taught us about ourselves is how we perceive life from that point forward. It's a study that I did thoroughly because I was studying a lot of things. My degree is in counseling and human services, but I wanted to understand how the mind works. Because I was trying to understand this one right here. I was trying to understand this one. And that's the one I clung hold to because it made more sense to me about how the things that happened to me influenced the decisions I made as an adult. So when we do shadow work, we're tapping into our subconscious or unconscious mind, readdressing some of those things that happened long time ago and seeing how they play out in our current life. So if you see the person who is kind of spoiled and they feel like somebody always owe them something, that's usually how they were in childhood. You can kind of peep some things. People who are really, really insecure, somebody tore them down in childhood. Somebody made them feel horrible about themselves. And so now they're trying to validate it through men, through food, through women, through clothes, through social media. You can almost touch, because I've done this so long. People don't even have to tell me a lot of times what happened to them, but I let them go through the process because they need to empty it. And I could touch what exactly kind of happened in your childhood that's making your life not show up. So we don't do I don't tell everybody to do shadow work, but it's those of us who feel like, damn it, my life ain't going right. These relationships are not flowing the way I need them to. Or why am I always getting fired from jobs? Or why am I got all this money, but there's nobody around me. Those type of things are why shadow work is important when life is unhappy.
Damn. I like the way that you said when life is unhappy. Because a lot of times stuff happens to us and we don't know, or either if we've had something that's happened traumatic in our younger life, we don't understand how it plays out as we get older. Things that we experience, how we just like, man, I just can't win. This ain't aligning. I'm trying. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels and nothing is happening. And sometimes you sit there and you wonder, like, who did I kill in my past life?
What happened?
For life just not to be going my way, no matter what I'm doing. And many of us don't understand, okay, it could have been something from back then that affects our now. And I think that's one of the craziest things to really realize is what's happened in our past can affect our present.
But and then also too, like sometimes people are just not aware of it, and like it's when I shouldn't say not aware. Their subconscious, they compartmentalize it in their subconscious and like try to put everything in a box so they won't have to deal with it. And that's what sometimes creates that person, that persona, or like we could like to call us, like we used to say, that representative that you show to everybody.
That was a sermon right there, sir.
Well, psychology is my degree, so
let's go.
Yeah.
I love it.
The big words tonight.
That was a word right there, and that's real because, and it's not intentional, and that's why trying to do shadow work with people, sometimes immediately people think they've done something wrong, right? The first thought is, I did it. I did something wrong. I've created a bad life. How do I fix it? So my first approach when I'm working with clients is to let you know, wait, it wasn't you. You didn't do it, nor can we blame the people who did it to you, because it was done to them. It's kind of something that's why I love the show. When we talk about the Chronicles of the Black Sheep and things like that, it's something that's kind of passed down through generations where people didn't know there was a different approach to talking to people. When you look back to slavery, and then when we started kind of being accepted through civil rights, you see that movement happen. That Black families were trying to get their kids to act right. Let these white people, you don't want to see these white people see you acting funny in their school. Don't you go in there? Your shoes can't look too bad. We were shining shoes. We were blacksmiths. We were doing all the things to look appropriate. And if we did anything out of line, because the whip was what we were familiar with. Let's whoop him up. So we thought we were trying to align our children to act the way we're supposed to act. But come to find out, we were creating trauma. We were creating more trauma. They were traumatized though. So what else? No, nobody was teaching Black people, African Americans that were developing through society in the United States anyway, how to do it in a different way. They didn't know because that's what we learned through centuries. People were enslaved here, right? So we learned a way of chastisement. So I try to help people go through the forgiveness cycle of themselves and those people so that you can heal yourself. That's part of shadow. Well, at least that's part of her shadow work program. Hands up, don't shoot.
But you hit on something too though. It's like that should be part of shadow working too, because what I've learned and what I've seen is folks that do the shadow work and forgive everybody else but won't forgive themselves. Or they'll be the last person to forgive themselves, and it takes a reality check for them to be like, oh shit, I forgot about me.
Yeah, I start with them first. I start with yourself first. I don't start with other people.
Always.
Because I don't even like the word forgiveness. Really messes with me a little bit. The F word fucks with me. So I do like to start with yourself first, because the easier you can forgive here, the easier it is to forgive it. Once you can give yourself grace and realize, damn, I just didn't know.
Right.
You can start saying, oh, they didn't know either.
Right. I like to say, who was a common denominator in the whole situation?
Yeah.
Me now?
Oh,
Yo,
yeah.
Man, I was really talking.
Wow.
I don't know what happened.
About using that Captain Crunch mic yet?
The Captain Crunch.
I was about to say, bro, we can't read lips.
All right, but my question is, so when it comes to shadow work, right? And is there a space in that before you realize it that affects you physically? Like, can it cause certain illnesses? Yes.
Absolutely. All forms of mental afflictions usually show up physically. Let's be real. All forms of anxiety, depression, all of them will show up physically. You will have exhaustion. You will have pain that doctors can't actually find out where it's coming from. There are forms of cancer and things like that will show up physically because you have harbored pain. I've known people who've gone through like Alzheimer's and strokes because they're so busy trying to hold the secrets and not be embarrassed about their truth. Peace, Larnika. Yeah, but they're trying to hold their truths, and instead of it ever coming out, they've held it in heart attacks. They've held it so long that now it's gonna show up some one way or another. It's got to get out the body, right? So you'll see physical afflictions come from not doing, and it doesn't have to be shadow work. I'm just a shadow work proponent. I love it. It's freeing for people. However, therapy is a great way. Even if you just have that partner or a good friend that you're releasing, you're able to talk to on a continuous basis, that gets it out. Shadow work, though, it helps put that little thing on it, that little sprinkle on it, where you can start seeing your life evolve bigger and you see yourself ascend into a higher person just because now I've forgiven myself. I've forgiven other people. Now I can approach this job differently. Now I'm not mad every time I come up in here. Now my money's flowing differently. Or when I'm creating this business, I don't have so much fear around it because of all the things people said I could not do. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. I feel like shadow work tends to help, but therapy is beautiful to help the talk. And that's why Larnika speaks so highly of me, and I love her forever because she's not the first therapist I've worked with that was going to therapy while they came to me. Therapy helped them talk it out. I helped them work it out. Now work it out.
Yeah. All right. I love that.
Cause like I'm gonna add to that. Like think about it like this, DJ. What's the most powerful part of your body outside of your tongue?
Mm-hmm.
My brain.
Come on. Strong.
Your brain controls everything. Everything. So if you stressing and your mental doesn't have a place to release it, what do you think is gonna release it?
Come on. And the brain
That's why you
controls
wake
the
up
rest of
with
the body.
you're like, oh, I slept wrong. No, that's stress.
Mhm.
Or I stepped off the curb wrong. No, that's stress. Or I'm sore. I ain't work out. I don't know what's going on.
See?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. That's my G. Hey, G. I just had to give my baby a shout out. Hey, baby. Sorry.
Okay.
And also too, there's many facets of therapy. Shadow work is just part of it. So it's like the analogy I like to use. It's a puzzle, and you got to use all the pieces that you got to paint this picture.
So I've heard the term shadow work, and and sometimes it gets thrown out there, so it loses its
Ooh.
girth, if you will. So can we get a better understanding, right? Like I know what it is,
Mhm.
but how do you begin to tap into that space? Because it can't be easy to, you have to be real intentional.
Very
So,
intentional. I'm glad you asked that because I wrote that in my notes.
okay, am I going too fast? Or we good?
Thank you so much for saying it because it's when I first really started teaching shadow work, it was during COVID, and
Okay,
it was this hype word. Like everybody was hype
yeah,
off of shadow work, and it's almost become a cliche. And I can't stand
yeah.
cliches. Don't do the way I work as a cliche because this is some real stuff. The reason it's so difficult for most people to do is because most of us aren't self-aware. It's hard to see ourselves.
Mm,
It's very difficult to do the work yourself. When God brought me to this work, God said, "You're going to do it yourself," though. That's what I had to do. I had to be faced with me and call myself out on a whole bunch of ugly stuff that I wasn't happy about calling it out. But then I was able to turn around and say, "Oh, this is where it came from." So now you can forgive yourself. But at first, it turned up ugly. So most people do not want to do it. The first thing I wrote down was you have to have a willingness to address trauma.
wow. Okay. I'm gonna take a couple notes if you don't mind,
Let's
because
go. I repeat it 4 or 5 times because please, this is me all day long. This is how I move. This is how I raise my children. Even. The willingness to address trauma. And I'm sure DA knows. It's hard for people to even want to talk about the stuff they've been through. When somebody comes to me, I'm a shadow work coach. I'm a life empowerment coach. I chose not to go on to get my master's degree to become a therapist because my community wasn't so about therapists at the time. So I was like, okay, people, they need something that don't sound like therapists in order to address some of this. But I've had many people come to me that say, I don't remember what happened to me between being born at 5. Oh, you got to go to therapy, baby. I send them straight to, I can't do that because you suppress something. And if I bring it up, I'm liable. So I can't do that. Let's go to therapy first. And then you could come back to me. We could do some of the work. You have to have a willingness and ability to address some of the trauma you've been through. If you already don't want to talk about it, wait till
okay.
you're ready. It's no
Yeah,
judgment from me. You just gotta wait till you're
that's
ready.
yeah, that's the issue.
Willingness and
That's
ability
one
to
thing we
address
had to
trauma.
deal with.
Okay.
That's one thing we had to deal with in when I was in the military doing this. Is it's like you shake up a bottle of Coke.
Ooh,
And once you crack that seal,
ooh,
you got to be able to control what's finna come next. If not, you finna have a mess on your hands. They'll leave worse than the way they
what?
came in. So
Mm,
that's why, yeah. And trust me, I understand where she's coming from when it's like, uh, if it's get to that point where you got to look. Let me go get the doc. Let the doc talk to you.
Yeah,
Because if not,
you
yeah.
done
And
messed
then
them up.
also too, as a provider, as a person who is helping through the
Mm-hmm.
situation, the shadow work too, we can absorb some of that, and the next thing you know, we are feeling the way that person is feeling.
Come on.
So yeah, it's kind of like twofold. You got to protect yourself and protect them at the same time.
Oh, I just love you. Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I
DJ,
have.
what were you saying? Because I know you and
Oh
DA
yeah.
started talking at the same time.
No, I was just repeating what she was saying. Make sure it's sticking in. That's it.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm very much a spiritualist, and I practice grounding big time. Big, big time. When I before I start therapist, shadow work session or just life coaching session, I cleanse myself of my stuff because how dare I bring that into you? That's not right.
Yeah.
And after I'm done, I do the same thing. For me, that can look like legit put my feet in the grass because I trust the earth to pull energy from my body. That's just what I do. I drink a lot of water because the elements, the fire, the water, the wind. I trust those things to remove a lot of things from me. I have intentional practices for exactly what Dee was talking about. Is you can actually take on people's mess and think it has something to do with you, and you'll be depressed for days trying to figure out why you depressed. But it was the person you was talking. I'm not doing. I don't want your bitch. I'm good. I got enough. I got enough. Thank you.
So when you say grounding, right? You
Mhm.
know, for the sake of conversation,
Yes.
that's a form of cleansing or releasing or
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, putting the feet on. Like think of the ground itself, or you're thinking about a battery, how it grounds itself out. You're trying to make sure you neutralize yourself and your energy. But that's a high level awareness that I don't know. I don't know how many people have gotten to, but I know certain things will make me feel relaxed, clear, and able to hear. A lot of people, communication is not just about talking, it's about listening. So
yes,
if I clear myself of my stuff before I come work with you, I'm not hearing something that's going on in my life. I don't need to. What I'm
right,
here for in our hour session is to listen. That's my form of communication then, because I need to hear what you're saying between your words, not just your words. I need to hear what you're not saying as well, so that I can actually aid in the healing process. You may not legit say to me, my mom didn't like me. But you start talking about, I ask about, what's your relationship with your mom? My mother didn't like when I wore this. My mom didn't. Now I'm hearing, "Mhm, I see where a lot of this is coming from the mom side versus the dad side. Right,
okay,
G, 2 ears and one mouth. Now I'm hearing what you're saying without your words. And so now I can help you better. And then I go outside and I write my notes during the session. I type out your homework after the session, and then I go release that because I got two little boys, a 5-year-old whose birthday's today, and a
happy birthday.
12-year-old who's gonna get strangled because he's trying to be a teenager. His voice got a little deep recently. I got that stuff to tend to after I've done a session. So I grounding
Okay,
pull me here so I can be effective.
just an FYI, a lot of these questions may seem rhetorical, and I know the answer, but for the sake of conversation, and I listen, and
Yeah,
our viewers,
yeah.
I
No,
like.
please.
Okay.
Listen, I'm on your show. You think I don't know how smart you are? Don't lie to me.
Okay, got you.
Don't
Um,
even do me. I know how smart. I've been watching
okay,
you.
but I love that aspect. I'm still stuck on willingness and ability to address those traumas, because a lot of times, and I can definitely speak for myself. You think you're ready, but once you get into that space and you realize, um, because I myself, like I'm in therapy once a week, sometimes twice a week. Just depends on what's going on, and we deal with a lot of stuff, and it's not called shadow work with my therapist, but that's exactly what it is. That's what we're doing, and some days I just want to crawl up under the bed, but she knows when to pull back or how to
Ooh.
guide me through those sessions. She's real great at that. So I'm gonna tell you now, Sharonda, I applaud you on all your work, because I know it can be a bunch just from the other side.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I
I
love it.
I appreciate that. It's a lot. It's a lot, but when you're called, you don't have a choice. That's just really, and you are one of the few. Can I say to you very clearly that has a therapist who's willing to do that level of work? Most of the people I've encountered, the therapist only listens. That's it. That's
Yeah,
it. How are you feeling today? They don't go into. I know people who have said to me, who have lost a stillborn child,
Oh wow.
and their therapist doesn't even know about it because they don't dig deep or hear the words in between the words, or just aren't willing to fish a little bit more for whatever reasons. And that's part of the reason me not becoming a therapist, because I'm like, I want to be able to dig, not trigger. Okay, I can be triggering, but be able to handle what I do trigger.
I'm sorry.
Just to, yeah, just to be able to hear what is going on with the person. And you're one of the rare people I've ever heard say my therapist is doing a form of shadow work.
Yeah.
One rare.
And
Keep
I'm
going.
a co-sign with him as well, because we do have the same therapist.
Very beautiful.
And she's, man, when I call it digging up bodies, because you be digging up a whole lot of stuff.
I love it.
So she does very much open those doors, but for us. But she's also supportive, and she does by even versus him versus myself know what our limits are and where to pull back. And she's quick to give us homework as well.
And my therapist, white woman, knows me like the back of her hand. I love this woman to death. She can read me. If I just come in and be like, but I'm going through this, and she's like, okay, Sheronda, you know that thing you do? She'll be like, you know that thing? Remember that? She'll call me quickly on it and remind me of myself and where it came from, because we've already discussed it before. I'm one of those people who've had that beautiful experience, but it's not often. And I'm grateful that y'all had that.
I was about to say that because, well, being on both sides, working it and being a patient is like, not a patient, I say a client. You run into those individuals, like you just said, that'll just, hey, how are you doing today? And I was like, well, I'm okay. Okay, then go on to the next conversation. And you're like, nah, you got to either take notes and come back to it later, or address it right then. It just depends, because a lot of folks, they just trying to get through that hour so they can write their notes. Or some of the other folks that I know, and I used to hate this. Oh, well, how about we prescribe you something? No, that's not. Nah, don't get me high. You need to help me, because all you're doing is giving me a short-term solution. The problem not gonna get away. I'm just feel good about it. But other than that, the problem's still there.
Wow.
Putting the Band-Aid on the gash.
Yeah. And I love that you said that you have a white therapist, because typically what we're told is that we need to have a black therapist that could be able to relate to us. Because I know with my therapist, when we get on and she say hello, she know if my hello ain't right. She know if my body language ain't right. She can read me like a book.
Yep. It is shameful, Arnika. It's very shameful, Linky. You know, still it is shameful. I absolutely agree. I think for me at the time, I grew up in a town that was kind of half black and white when I grew up. Yo, I'm in Atlanta now. Where are the white people? You see what I'm saying? When I got here, I was like, there's no white people around. But so for me at first, I was so used to being around white people, I connected with a white therapist. If it happened now, and I, even when I started as a life coach, I did not expect my audience to be black women. I just didn't. I had no expectation. And then that's my audience. That is my absolute audience, and I'm grateful for it, because y'all look like me. Girl, I love you. Girl, I love you. But I wasn't I was the girl who sounded too white, or whatever it was at that time. I just wasn't accepted by my community there in South Carolina. When I got to Georgia, it was just like, I'm one of a million. I'm one of a million. I grew up in Beaufort, South Carolina, on the coast, somewhere that, slavery.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, when you said South Carolina,
I saw your face. Yep. I saw your face, and I was like, let me clarify. Not far from Charleston, where slaves were brought into the ports. I'm right there on the coast. But I grew up very balanced, where my white teachers were very supportive. My black teachers were very supportive. And then I got to Atlanta, and I was like, where are the white people at? You know, but for me, that made a difference for me. But now, I don't know if I would change right now. I love her so much. She's a great woman. But I do feel like if you feel like you could connect better with someone who's black, do what feels comfortable because you need to be able to feel free to speak. You need to be able to feel free to heal. So do what you do. Don't do what I did. Yeah.
Agreed.
Some people are there for the wrong reason and not tap into their own.
And I was about to read that comment that Marnika just said. She said some therapists are there for the wrong reason and have not tapped into their own shadow. I'm glad you said that because one of the things that we said in the military, I don't know about the civilian life, we used to say people who are therapists got in there for two reasons: either to help somebody or help themselves.
Oof.
And the ones that are trying to help themselves, you'll know because the conversation will end up being a therapy session for them versus you. And I think, that for me, and I'm just my opinion, I think that's what turned a lot of people that look like us off when it comes to seeking therapy, because I come in to talk to you, and it end up, hell, you fucked up just like me. So how you gonna help me get out of my situation?
Yeah.
Regardless if it's true or not.
Regardless if it's true or not.
That's the picture I'm getting.
Yeah. Yeah. And part of my approach, DA, of healing is transparency. So when somebody mentions something to me, I do like to share parts of me, but it's for specifically relating to you on what you've been through, not for me to tell you what I'm going through. And so it sounds like it's all about me.
And yeah, y'all both sitting there crying,
right?
You got snotting and shit because both of y'all having a hard time.
Rocking. All messed up.
So when it comes to shadow work, I want to ask, from your personal perspective, what is a couple of the major benefits that you have noticed?
Oh gosh, just a couple.
I mean, however many you want to name,
like for me, okay, I'll use for example, one of the ones is when I work with couples. So if both of them come to me for shadow work, I work with the man, the woman, the man. I work with each of them individually.
Okay.
And so this is within each week. So I do 12-week programs because I'm a life coach. I'm not a therapist. I'm not trying to see you for years. Let's get this straight in 12 weeks. You know, that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what we're charged to do as life coaches. So that each week I work with one person, I work with the other person, and then I work with them together in that week. So now each individual is addressing their own shadows. And then when they come together, now they could discuss that, they could share what they learned about themselves to each other. So now they're learning why each other behaves the way they do. Now I'm able to give some homework for them to do together to be able to meld it, because shadows do not go away. Shadow work is not to eliminate the shadow. Shadow is to tell the shadow, sit your ass down.
If I was setting up, I would have sat down.
You're doing too much right now. You're trying to ruin this beautiful relationship I'm in. You're trying to ruin this job. You're trying to ruin my money. You sit down. And so once both of them are there learning together how to come together and teach their shadows how to sit the fuck down. So that's one of the benefits. I love seeing couples heal from it. The other one other benefit I could think of is just freedom. Just finally realizing, I've been angry that long for something I didn't even have to be angry about. Oh my God. I can forgive myself for something that I didn't even do. Those things, that freedom of releasing and letting some stuff go, I've seen people's lives. I've seen people get married. I've seen people's lives change. I've seen them start. It's the freedom.
Have you ever coached friends through shadow work?
I have not coached friends. I would love to.
TK?
Y'all crazy.
I think me and my friend TK need some shadow work. boy. Say over the years.
Because look here, when I tell you we done been through the storm and the rain together.
I see. Y'all going to the same therapist, so I don't even think y'all need no check.
All right.
I don't even believe it. I ain't buying
Because,
it.
baby, when I tell you she earned her money, she
Sure.
earned her money with us.
But
Definitely.
if y'all don't mind, I wanted to share a little bit about the willingness to address the trauma a little bit
Please.
and what that looks like a little bit more for some people. Like one of the biggest things I'm telling you massively on a larger scale than any other problem people coming to me with, the majority of them have experienced some sexual assault. And this is men and women, period. The majority of people who are struggling. If you ever watch My 600-Pound Life,
Ooh.
the majority of them have been sexually assaulted. That weight is protection.
Wow.
Subconsciously, in the shadow part of their minds, I'm trying to protect myself. I'm not doing this with you. Am I right or am I wrong, DA? These people
No,
are
you're
trying
right.
to protect themselves from
They're
being
making themselves unattractive.
Wow.
Yeah.
trauma.
Fix your face, TK.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, they're making
I'm
themselves
gonna
unattractive.
about how I need
And
to
the
go
coping
ahead and
mechanism
go
is
on to the
food.
gym tonight. So
Yeah. Fix your face.
You ain't
Wow.
600
Yeah,
pounds though, so I'm
yeah,
not doing
they're
this.
doing that.
I'm not doing this with you. I said 600 pounds. We're not doing it with you.
hey,
But some of us have got a little extra cushion too. Yeah, a little cushion too. It has a lot to do with that. It's a protection thing that we do. So even for myself, very transparent. Ain't the first time I've said it in public. I was sexually. My earliest memory is at 3 years old was being sexually assaulted. So starting that early, I was hypersexual at one point in my life. Was that my fault? How was one of my first memories? Because around 2, 3 is when you first start remembering. You've been living, but you actually hold on to the memory. So at one point I became hypersexual, right? Because of that happening to me. Once I addressed the shadow, number one, I stopped feeling so bad about myself, about what I did. Number two, I was able to learn how to change that energy into something creative. I was able to use that hypersexuality and push it into a business idea. Oh, you think that's what you want? No, girl, you want some money. Oh, you think that's what you want? No, you want to go meditate, learning how to transmute that energy and being able to have sex the way I wanted to, when I wanted to, and knowing it wasn't my fault. People are afraid to address that. There's people are unwilling to really feel like that wasn't my fault. I don't care how it happened, but a lot of times we think it's our fault. Nobody gets to take your body from you. You see them come out with control issues, the overweightness, hypersexual, hyposexual. You'll see different things come out of this space. And you have to be willing to address, it happened. I forgive me because I didn't do nothing wrong. I forgive that person. And it takes a minute to get there. I forgive that person because they were twisted, but somebody may have done it to them. And I release them. I don't never have to see them again. I don't have to talk to you again. I don't care if he was my uncle. Her. I don't care if he was my uncle. I don't have to talk to you ever again. But I release you to your life because you're not gonna keep affecting this.
Yeah.
That release, it's worth it. You have to gain that willingness to be ready to let that issue go because it ain't yours. It was yours in the moment. It's not yours forever.
Okay.
I know. Heavy. I know. Healing. Heavy. Healing.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's like and this feeds into reason why folks don't like doing this is because it gets too deep and it brings back. It basically you're snatching the Band-Aid off the wound, and you're not allowing it yourself to feel the pain and address the pain. You don't want to. A lot of folks are scared to do that.
Pain for many of us equals weakness. Again, we talked about the roots of African Americans. I ain't talking about Africans. I'm talking about African Americans, specifically how we came through. Pain was embarrassing. Pain to watch your husband being whipped by this white man, and he's just up there embarrassed, hurt. So there's generational trauma that we carry in our DNA, unfortunately. That's what it's another reason, DJ, why it's so important to do this work. Another benefit is to begin to release some of this generational trauma that we didn't even create, to be able to let it go, to be able to say, but now I get to choose a life for me. Wait a minute. I don't have to be embarrassed that this happened to me. Matter of fact, I'm about to transmute and use this pain for my power. Give me that. Give me that. I've snatched so much stuff from people who ain't funny. They don't know it. Give me that. You said I was ugly. Boy, give me that. You said what? Give me that too. Because I'm about to use this to show you how powerful I am.
From my perspective, DA, pain equals anger. Pain, it relates to rage. And that's the scary part for me.
So let me ask you this, since you brought that up.
Yeah.
Is it relating to it, or is it the response?
Come on.
It's the reaction from the emotion, the secondary emotion from feeling that initial feeling of fear.
So it's the response to what you just say?
Ooh.
The secondary emotion from that initial feeling of fear.
Yep. It's the response to your fear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a defense mechanism. And that's I'm glad you bringing this up, and I'm glad you said it. That is 90% of the issues when it comes to African American men. We're not angry, we're not violent, we're not destructive, we're afraid.
Yep.
We're scared. And the only way we can survive in this world is to do what?
Mm-hmm.
Be violent. Be violent. We have to show that hyper masculinity. Oh, you gonna fuck with me, bitch? I'm gonna do you. I'm gonna do. But for what? And it rolls into hypersexuality. Oh, I'm a man. I gotta do XYZ. No, bro. No, we are. I'm not talking about you. I'm gonna use me.
Right.
I am afraid of being alone. I am afraid of what will happen if I do X. So my reaction to all of that stuff is to act in a certain way. I don't want to be alone, so I'm gonna be hypersexual. I don't want nobody to look at me like I'm soft or weak. So anytime somebody look at me crazy, I'm going upside their head.
Come on.
And it's time. I'm finna go on a rant. It's time for us to understand that is us. That has been instilled in us from knee high to ant's ass, because of how our parents and the people before them grew up. They instilled that fear. Again, we said it earlier. How you had to dress. You couldn't leave the house looking a certain way. You had to do this. You had to do that. What is that doing? That's instilling fear.
Yeah.
If we don't act a certain way, these are the outcomes. Same thing with the black women. If you don't act, especially now with all this hyper whatever going on, if you don't act a certain way, you're gonna be by yourself. If you don't act a certain way, this is what's gonna happen to you. Now you got the women being, oh, I don't need no man. I don't need no man. I don't need no man. Where does that come? Where is that coming from? The fear of.
Come on.
Okay, I'm with y'all. TK, them wheels spinning up there.
Very much, because this guy just got like deep and very, very transparent. Like DA just cracked a whole nut open, like with a whole bunch of information, even from that perspective. Even with you, I know you, but the way for me, whatever, DA just cracked that open and just really broke that down. Like Larnika said, that's deep. Like, and that's real, because we don't realize a lot of times, a lot of the pressure that's put on us or we may put on our kids. And that's another one of those things that's generational.
Mhm.
Uh, the pressure like we put on us. You got to make sure you act like a young lady. Make sure your hair's always nice and neat. Make sure it is. We all heard that lesson of never leave the house with no torn or dirty drawers on. We already known that. I don't care if it's an emergency. Your drawers better be right before you leave the house. You know, a lot of times just growing up has had so much pressure applied to us. So
Come
we
on.
do. There is a certain fear that we live in. We know at school, let that school call your mama. If you got that one mama, depending how that mama is, because there's a couple of them, it's that one mama that's gonna come up there and show up and show out, and you got that mama that's gonna show up, show out, and be extra, extra, because that's the new mamas. They extra, extra, and then you're gonna end up on social media. Them
Yeah.
some fears that you don't want, and some things that you don't want to deal with. So I mean that fear, I can see where the anger can come in different spaces
Mhm.
when fear comes in.
Yeah.
So he like, man, DA just he
I
did that.
mean, and here's what I just piggybacking off of what DA said in answering your question as well as DJ is another benefit of shadow work is you start to learn you have a choice of how to respond. Shadow work teaches you that I actually have the option. I get to choose whether I'm going to be hypersexual or I get to choose if I'm going to use this energy for something else other than chasing around women or men. I'm going to use this energy to create, to build, to read, to study, or I'm going to be angry. Or I'm going to fight. Or every time somebody says something to me, I got a problem. That's one of the benefits, absolutely, of shadow work is it gives you the option of how you want. Because people don't realize you get to choose how you want to respond. Your feelings are valid now. Let's be clear. Something can piss you all the way off, but how do I want to respond to it? That's what shadow work gives you the freedom of, too.
Learn that you have a choice on how you respond. Okay.
Yep,
I
I
like
wrote
that,
that down.
DA and
Mm-hmm.
Sharonda. Yeah, me too. I wrote
Yeah,
that down.
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah. Because I'll say this. During my father's funeral,
Mm.
you're dealing with family. I had to deal with one of my molesters during this
Oof.
time. So my fear came out in anger.
Okay.
It came out in anger and it came out in even in defense. When they approached me, I was
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know if you remember, but I remember. But I was guarded.
Mm-hmm.
My actions and body language were aggressive, and it could have came off aggressive. But believe me, my actions let you know that I don't fuck with you
Mm-hmm.
because my words was very short towards the person. It was hello, but
Yep.
like I said, my body language and my words were very cutthroat to the
Mm-hmm.
point. Hello, get your ass on and keep it moving.
Period.
Yeah.
And nobody can tell you whether or not that was a good or bad reaction.
Nah.
What did I say? You get to choose
Right.
the reaction.
Yeah.
I'm very clear about why I say what I say. You get to choose it and stand 10 toes down. I'm not saying I don't nut up. I will nut the probably when I leave the room with one of these kids act crazy. I might nut up. And then I'm still the mama who come back. Okay, look, I probably shouldn't have acted so crazy. I love you. Sorry. But you still shouldn't have been doing X, Y. I'm that mama who doesn't mind come because I feel like a lot of trauma would have been reduced in childhood. Parents knew how to say, I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have responded so harshly. Maybe I should have believed you when you said. Maybe if they just came back and corrected, you still were wrong for doing what you did, but I shouldn't have responded. So that we wouldn't see nearly as much traumatic adults as we do. It's just I'm sorry. It's just I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
can definitely agree with that because even as an adult, I've been privileged enough to have conversations with my mother and she's apologized for so much, and just those words is like a weight lifted. And TK will tell you because she's been part of those conversations, and just hearing that, it switches my mindset on so many different aspects of life. So I definitely agree with that. So I can imagine as a child how much more impactful those words would be. Yeah. So
And I'll agree with that as well. That's something else I'll also say about my father. You know, typically being a daddy's girl, when a father has to discipline, it about hit him all up in here just like it hit me. So I can remember some times that I didn't got in trouble and just not doing something correctly and being in trouble. My dad broke my heart because I didn't want to let my dad down. I feel like I didn't do what I knew I should have done. So we be sitting up there, he'd reprimand me and we crying together because his heart is just as hurt for reprimanding me as well.
Yeah.
But he never failed to say, I'm sorry. And even at the time of his passing, I still apologized to him before he passed and asked for forgiveness.
Whew. Y'all taking me tonight.
I'm
Yes,
gonna have to go do some grounding.
for sure. I did it before. I'm about to do it after. Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the things I did want to bring up about shadow work is self-awareness. You know, Larnika brought that up last week about becoming self-aware. And like I said at the beginning, that's one of the hardest things to do because your experiences are yours. So everything is true. So all of it's true. So to be able to even be willing to go back and say, what if that truth was slightly skewed because you were hurt, angry, whatever the expression was at that moment? What if that wasn't true? And one of my approaches, this is going to sound silly, but one of my approaches to make people more self-aware, and I talked to y'all about this before, and the last time I was here, was making a vision board. There's a reason why I do this. There's a reason why I do it. Create a vision board. What is the absolute life? What's that life that you know you really want to have? We're going to create it. We're going to download some pictures off of Google, put it on PowerPoint, save it as a JPEG, put it on your, screensaver, put it on your phone. Okay, what's step one you're going to do to go to Dubai? Well, go find out how much it costs, the flights and all that stuff. If you're somebody who doesn't know how to save money, I'm addressing you have to become self-aware about yourself instantly. If you're someone who wants to put a beautiful picture of this married couple on there, now we're going to talk about what does it look like to take care of yourself, to self-love yourself first. The things you want in them. So I could point to that person you want to marry right there in that picture. What do you want from them? And they'll give me a list. Now, can you do it for yourself? Now I make it come back to you. People think I say vision board and they're like, oh yeah, vision board, because people made that another cliche, like the word shadow work. Everybody's doing vision board priorities. But no, this is the opportunity to see you. Let me tell you something. Advertisement banks on your vision. Advertisement needs your vision. They need you to see, they study colors, the way things flash, the way things look on commercials, intentionally to draw into your mind to get you to want to purchase something. So now I want to plan this trip somewhere, but now I done saw this car I want. You didn't even say you wanted a car. Matter of fact, you just got a car a year ago, but now here you are, something flashed in front of you. So now there's a shadow that you might have to, the impulsiveness, the inability to stay focused on what you really want. Now I get to address other issues from the vision that you created. I told you I don't play.
I think also too to add to that, like just to back it up a little bit, I think a lot of folks don't want to do the shadow work or afraid to do the shadow work because it's gonna crack their reality or crack their foundation.
Can I log off now, y'all?
Yeah.
Not
It's
just yet. Not just yet.
DA is chat, baby.
it's gonna cause like if you like everything we said earlier, things started from childhood and keep going and keep going and keep going. You have to look at somebody who, say, I'm gonna use myself for example, somebody who's been on this earth for 49 years. That's 49 years of trauma. That's 49 years of not self-reflecting. Now you finna tell me, oh, I need to check myself. So then once you start questioning yourself. Who are you really? Who are you for real? And that's scary to a lot of people
It's scary.
because now it's like you start looking at things that happened in the past. You're like, that's not really me.
Yeah.
So who was that?
Yeah.
And
And then that's
instead of thinking about it as now I am a whiteboard, I can paint what the hell I want
I
to paint.
want to. Ooh.
I
and the
can become what I
reality for
want.
me in that space that DA is talking about is now I question like why did I marry her? Why did I
Yep.
marry him or her? Why did I choose
That person.
these?
Mhm.
Like even in friendships,
Yeah.
like why do I hang around these people?
It
You
does.
question every aspect.
Yep.
So I agree with
Yeah.
that 100%, DA, and I'm glad you pointed that out
Yeah.
because like even nowadays, like I've been cutting people off because I'm like, this is more draining than it is productive. Like I'm not a trash can. Like I'm not like if every conversation is about negative stuff
Yep.
or now you messed up in your relationship and you're upset at me because I'm not co-signing your BS. No,
Right.
no,
Right.
bro. If you wrong,
And
so yeah. So I
yeah,
agree with
and
that.
then you
DA
start to
100%.
realize, like you were just saying,
Mhm.
a lot of the times your friendships are built around common
BS.
denominator. That
Yeah.
same trauma, that same shit you
That's
was
it.
doing. You
Yeah.
now you looking at it like, oh shit,
Yeah.
that's why we tight. It ain't
Right.
because that true bond. We was we were tight
But
because we was on it. Both of us was on that same dirt
BS.
sheet.
But
Yeah.
listen, y'all, both of
Yeah.
y'all, people are staying until they in their grave because it's comfortable.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
they will stay there until it's comfortable. The reason shadow work is necessary is when it becomes uncomfortable. I tell people don't come to me just on some. I just want to find out what shadow. No, we don't need to talk. It's when your life is uncomfortable. Is you want to pull your skin the fuck off. That's when
ooh,
shadow work is necessary. When
I
nothing's
like that.
making sense anymore. When this life I'm living is terrorizing me, you're willing to shed the friends. You're willing to shed the family. You become more willing to give up a whole bunch of ish simply because it's uncomfortable to stay where you already are. That's
And
when shadow work is
and tiring.
Self
tiring.
awareness.
I'm exhausted.
Mm-hmm. And
Toxic.
don't know why.
Mm. We'll wake up in the morning more tired than when you went to sleep.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
People
Man,
who
why
do
you playing?
they know people who
Right.
need this type of work, they're tired. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay. Wow. Okay.
yeah,
Oof.
yeah. It's deep. I'm
I don't know
sorry.
what y'all
I
hate
don't
on
know.
me because y'all on one tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't
But these
apologize.
are the
It's
conversations that
necessary.
need to be
It
had.
needs to be. I agree.
Yeah.
It needs, and I thank y'all for bringing me because not many platforms are because that's the reason my business is named right there on the screen. Authentically, your expressions, because your authenticity is where your freedom is. That clean slate you just talked about, Da, that whiteboard where I can now create. It's not even creating a life; it's returning to who you've always been, who you were born into the world being. It's just certain things kind of skewed your view of who you really are. So all you're doing is returning to that childlike, I want to be a teacher, that childlike, I want to be an astronaut. You may not go to space, but it'll look like something like that. It's some study that's going to make you feel like you've actually reconnected with who you are,
I
and
like
all
that.
those other things are going to fall off. It's okay.
I like that.
It really is a safe space to be, but we don't know it because we're losing everything we've held on to.
Mm.
The fake truth that we
Yeah.
held on to for so long. It feels like something breaking. It is. That fake shit's breaking. Let it go. Let it go. It's not serving you no more.
Oh, DA, you want to read that comment?
G. Lockwood said, in the same token, men don't tell each other problems.
No.
If your man asks how are you doing, the first thing come out of a person's mouth is I'm good. And been what? Oh, and been known to do that. Yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
We do that a lot.
I'm
Like,
good.
and it's just not with dealing with men each other. It's just in general. Our world could be a damn garbage truck on fire, and we like, nah, I'm good.
Hmm. Hmm. Me and him actually had this conversation tonight about that. How we were sitting talking about. I'll ask him. We'll wake up in the morning. And he's like, "Good morning." I'm like, "Good morning." And I'm like, "How are you?" He's like, "I'm good." No. How are you?
Yes. Yeah.
No. How are you? How you feel? And I'll be like, well, "How's your mind?" And he'll tell me about that. How's your body? What you feeling? And how's your
Right.
spirit? That's what I want to know. I don't want no fake answer from you. Let's find out that holistic thing of how you feeling. Yes, sir.
And
But
that's
Hmm.
we have to realize who we're talking to,
Yes.
because everybody is not ready to hear
Here.
what you got to say.
That and that.
Yes, that is the downside to
Oh, yeah,
doing
that is
shadow work,
hard.
because everybody's not ready to hear everything that's been built up in you. Why?
That's called run. If that bitch ain't excuse me.
No, you said
If
it right.
somebody's not willing to listen, that tells you you're not in alignment.
With the
You said
wrong
it
one.
right.
You're not in alignment. She
And
can't
then
sit and listen, or if he can't sit and listen, and even if they don't know how to respond, can I sit and listen, rub your back, stroke your beard? I'm sorry you feeling this way. What can I do? Oh yeah, that's a hard hurt nigga right there. But what can I do?
Hey,
You
he
said it first.
confessed
You said
to
it
it.
first.
So hey,
What can I do to make you feel? If they can't give you, because I know what you're talking. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen people act like it's okay to be vulnerable with me, and then they light them up about whatever the answer is they give.
also too, it could be a reflection. Like you're dropping issues, how you're feeling, they're feeling the same way. So now they're shook. Like shit.
and there's a major difference, right? When you ask someone how you're doing, or like when you ask someone, okay, how are you really doing? How's your mental? Um, and you can feel the difference, even if it's different. Um, because hold on, let me.
Mm-hmm.
So some people they ask that question, but they don't really want to know. So you can feel
There's a difference.
when it's very sincere when someone asks you how are you doing. So yeah.
agreed.
But that, again, that's knowing who you are, and knowing what you want. You should be able to at some point. I need somebody who can hear me when I'm going through something.
Mm.
And then not everybody needs that. At least they don't think they do. Let me be clear. I don't really want to talk about it, so I'm glad when they just say, "How are you?" and I get to say, "I'm good."
Yeah. Agreed.
Can I share one last point, and I'm gonna leave y'all alone?
Please do.
Sure.
I
Yeah,
mean, please share the last point. That's what I mean.
for me anyway. About the shadow work, there has to be a willingness to self-regulate, especially if you're doing it by yourself. You have to have some willingness to be able to. Somebody says something and do this. Just pause before you respond. That a pause. I had to teach myself that one because boy, I'm a Gemini. My season coming. I'm with it. I got something slick to say real quick. Bap! You said what? I said that bap. I'm with you. We about to be tag team. And I had my mother used to tell me your mouth. So over time I learned. Do you have to respond to everything, Sheronda? You want to regulate that this time? Yeah, I'm gonna regulate this time. I'm okay if you feel that way about me. I have to say sometimes to people, I'm okay if you feel that way. Clients who come to me for the first session, they feel like what D was saying earlier. This person did this to me, and you're just trying to take their side. Like they don't want to be accountable for just not that you did something wrong. I'm just saying you have the opportunity now to release them, and they're mad because they're not ready to release them. So I'm now the worst life coach. I'm okay for them to feel that way. Being able now, Sheronda can do that. Now I can say, you have to have a willingness to be able to regulate yourself, because when you identify some of the stuff that's in you, you have to retrain your brain now. Now you got to teach your brain about not being angry, popping off, crying about everything, manipulating situations, doing all those things that you did to people in order to get this fake life that you got. You have to be willing to self-regulate and say, I can't call them and bother them about this no more, because I'm learning how to do it myself.
Wow.
It's big. Self-regulation is big.
I'm just gonna say this, Sharonda, and then I'll be done as well, TK. I am really, really grateful that you came on and helped give us a clear understanding of shadow work, because I have only heard it, and it's only been explained dealing with other individuals and what they've done to you, but not that self um, awareness aspect, because it also tells me to look at me and what part that I play in this space. That's part of being self-aware. So I appreciate that, and that self-regulation aspect. Never heard it. I've heard people try to explain shadow work so many times, but it's never been elaborated to that capacity. So thank you very much.
My honor, man. My honor.
TK, I'm good.
Sheronda, you got anything else that you want to, any more gems you want to drop down that I need to write down?
Well, I do want to share that me and G, that's been on here, opened our online store called the Mindfulness Moments. So we practice mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation is being able to be present, being able to focus. A lot of people, especially with social media and phones and stuff like that, we don't have attention spans like we used to. But our attention span is what heals us. The ability to be able to focus and be present. Because God said, I am. When he introduced himself to Moses, the first time in the Bible he introduced himself, he said, I am. I am that I am. I am is a present moment. Not I was or I will be, because of course he is. But the only time we can have the encounter with God's spirit, with you, I had an encounter with you in the past, but I can't go back to it, right? I will have an encounter with you in a couple of minutes until we get off here. True. But in this moment, I get to enjoy you, and you hear the sound of my voice, and we get to take deep breaths. And those are the things that help us self-regulate, help our bodies heal, help our minds not stress. Anxiety is usually what's going to happen in the future. Depression is something that happened in the past. We practice mindful meditation. I'm going to pick up my little laptop. Those are the pillows that we've created, hand sewn by me, hand stuffed by him on my website to create that meditation space for you. We love it. That's just something that we practice together. And I just wanted to share that with you. But on a parting note, don't be afraid. I'm sorry.
What's the name of the online
website?
store again, and how can we find it?
Okay. I will put it. Oh, it's flexing with me. So it's my website, authenticallyyourexpressions.com. I was trying to join the chat, but it's not letting me type right now. But authenticallyyourexpressions.com, my store is on there called the Mindfulness Moments.
Okay.
It's on there. But don't be afraid of shadow work, y'all. Especially when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Looking at yourself will not hurt you. It will help you. It will benefit you. It feels exposing at first. You feel a little naked, like, oh my God, I got to look at these things that I did. But it shows you how brilliant you can make it even better. You weren't horrible. You were being you. And the next you It's just an ascension of who you've always been. Be okay with that. Be okay with that. Yeah, authenticallyyourexpressions.com. That's us. Yeah.
And tell them some more information, how other else that they can find you, the stuff that you have going on, because my little issues has had me thrown off where I haven't been able to join y'all on Sunday, but I'm gonna get it together
That
shortly
is
because
okay.
y'all be cutting up on Sundays.
Oh, you heard about it? Did she tell on us?
And no, I just see what be posted in
We
the groups.
posted. I love that group.
And Minky, I know better.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. So on Sundays I have a group called Rest. Reclaiming every second of our time is that acronym. Reclaiming every second of our time. And so what we do on Sundays is there's a book that we're reading right now called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. We resting, especially with what's going on in politics. People tired. We tired and we don't feel like dealing with anything. So we come together on Sundays from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time just to sit and talk about the book. We each read a chapter, come back, get together. And on Mondays, I have a show as well that's on my page on YouTube. There's AYE Live. AYE Live. And every Monday, me and my friend Kim, we do a show called Redefining Authenticity because her business is redefining. I almost lied on her. I can't remember the name of it because I said the name of the show so long. Anyway, just come to Redefining Authenticity and you'll see we're just talking about what it means like after a child dies, after a husband dies, after you've divorced, after anything has happened. Now you know how to redefine your life after the fact. So those are things I got going on along with the store. So you can find all of that at www.authenticallyyourexpressions.com. Thank you, y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Every given moment I see y'all come live and I can jump on or watch y'all later on when I'm driving for a far distance and I'm just listening. Thank you for doing what you do. I'm always going to be grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you as well.
Very
Dee-J, you got anything, my brother?
Nah, I ain't got nothing.
No, you've been talking the whole thing, dropping all them bombs.
Yeah.
Oh no, this my lane.
Oh man, I'm about to go do a praise run real quick as soon as I get off here because of that.
It's my
right.
It's my niche, my niche.
Yes,
I just be quiet about it. I need to stop. I guess I see.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Because wasn't you supposed to be starting life coaching?
I am. I gotta finish. I gotta take the what's the name? The certificate.
Okay.
Once I finish that, then yeah. Hopefully I'll have that done by the end of the year.
I love it.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yep.
And I just want to encourage everyone, don't be afraid of the work. It is necessarily amazing. Don't be afraid. It's some days are gonna be better than others, but don't get stuck in it. Keep moving through it.
I love that. Of course, always, Sheronda, I thank you for coming on tonight. This right here didn't touch my whole little old spirit. Like,
yeah. Mine too.
This didn't bless me and everything, and I definitely hope it blessed somebody else. And that y'all, if y'all came in halfway, y'all go back and rewatch from the beginning because you don't want to miss all the tidbits and the gems that was dropped. Because this was very much needed for some people, even for myself, and I was already aware of what shadow work was. But I will tell you one, just like we talk about words are being thrown around, therapy has been just thrown around a lot too. People are so quick to say, "Oh, I'm finna start therapy just to get brownie points." But you could pretty much know the people that's gonna be like, "Hey, I'm gonna start therapy," and they just saying it for the brownie points because they ain't gonna be able to do the work. Like, just be honest. You know who just saying it just said it, who ain't really 10 toes down to do it, because it's no joke. It's work.
Yes.
Like trying to heal yourself from past issues is work. It's almost like having another job. And if you have a therapist that is on you, to do it and she's in it for the betterment of you, you're gonna have homework. I do sessions twice a week myself. I do a regular session for myself and then I do a family session. So I have double homework, during the week. But that's that part of not only healing me, but healing that generational part and breaking those things there, because I don't want them to continue to the next generation or whatever it stopped. I want to be able to stop it.
Yes.
From going any further. So, like, if you just don't throw it around, because I mean, people make it look ugly, and it's not ugly. It can have some ugly moments when you're digging up them bodies, but it's a really beautiful and freeing space to be in. It's very much of healing, and I laugh during my dad's therapy. It was my dad's funeral. So many things came up. Even my podcast came up amongst the family, and it was kind of funny to me because somebody said that I was bashing someone on my podcast, and it wasn't bashing. The topic at hand was very relevant to me, and I gave the whys, and I was very transparent on why we had that topic and how important it was for me and what I've learned from that, because I didn't want to be what that person was to me to somebody else. So it wasn't bashing. It was a very honest and transparent moment for me. And if you've been watching this podcast in the last 4 years, that is what this podcast is to me. This is my healing and my journey. So I'm very transparent. And if by chance I have stomped on your feet in some kind of way, you might want to move them motherfuckers out my way the next time, because they gonna get stomped on. And just like Narnika said, a hit dog will holler. You gonna holler loud than a motherfucker with me, because I'm not going to change what I do on my podcast, because this is about me. So, again, if you have not, please like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can have more wonderful moments like this with us, because we greatly appreciate you for always rocking with us and supporting us. More than y'all know, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate our guests. We appreciate how we get our guests. Thank you again, Larnika, because we wouldn't have had Sheronda if it was not for you. So we greatly appreciate that. We love our podcast family growing, because every time we meet somebody, man, we've met some really awesome people on this journey. Like I love it. Y'all don't even understand how much I love it, and it always fills in a perfect piece to our puzzle. So I greatly appreciate it. So y'all tune in next week. If y'all have not, please make sure y'all follow Sheronda. Like, you gonna get something out of something that she's giving. Y'all gonna get something. And Sheronda has been on the grief sessions also with Larnika. So she's
And
one of those people rotation. Yep. See, there you go. She's on there this month. Should be 2 weeks away. I'm telling y'all, how I first seen her was through the grief session. If y'all have not attended a grief session, y'all need to go ahead and get in there and join in. It is literally, it is a blessing. I get something out of each session that we have, because it's always a different person, but she does rotate them. But everybody has more than one story, and the experiences are 9 out of 10 you can relate. So if you have not, definitely do that. You can go through Larnika for the grief sessions on getting signed up, and then you get the notifications and everything. But definitely find Sheronda, because like I said, she has a lot going on, a lot of good stuff going on. You will find you a space somewhere within what she is offering, and you will not be disappointed. Guaranteed. So y'all enjoy. Go look back at y'all's notes, because hey, go back and look at y'all notes. It'll help y'all get started. Go ground. Turn your music on. Light you some incense, something, because tonight was a little heavy. It was definitely giving. So hey, sometimes that's how we need to end our Friday. Hey, if you even got to go have your little drink, go on, go on right there. Go on, do that right there. So we out. Thank y'all. Much love, and y'all be blessed.
Yeah, what's up with it? Do it cause I love it and I stuck with it. We ain't with the subbing in the cut with it. Please none of the talks, I heard enough of it. Like, what you gonna do? Where you at? Who you with? You ain't really about this, don't talk about it. Really